impact on cat owners. Cat owners are a bit worried about them. What are they going to mean?
Well, it's an interesting thing, and it's really the first time in Australia, Tracy, that cats have been recognised, if you like. And we've always had to register our dogs, and dog owners have had to be responsible for their dog's behaviour. But cats and cat owners have basically been ignored. So the new laws basically mean that a cat owner must know where its cat is and what it's doing at all times and assume responsibility for that cat's actions. Now, some of the laws that are already in place include that cats are prohibited from wildlife protection areas. Now, if a cat is found in a wildlife protection area, anybody can seize that cat. Now, if the owner's present, they should hand the cat straight back to the owner. If the owner isn't present, it can be passed on to a pound or to a council ranger or wildlife officer, and they will then impound the cat. And there are some pretty hefty penalties for that.
But the cat can't be shot on sight, and I think that was one of the things that was speculated when these laws were being talked about. We should clear that up.
That was speculated, and I think pretty quickly dismissed that cats could be shot, anywhere outside their own property. So that would have been quite dangerous, and I think a few of the cat haters throughout Australia would have taken that a bit too literally.
I'm sure they would have. Is it cruel to keep cats confined? I'm sure that there are some cat owners who would argue that.
No, it's not cruel. I mean, if cats are brought up that way, that's an okay thing, and they'll accept it. But some of the other laws basically include nuisance orders can be slapped on cats now too, so that if if a cat is willfully damaging someone else's property or other animals or creating too much noise, then these nuisance orders can be slapped. And again, there are hefty fines if that isn't complied with, or they can be impounded. And in extreme cases, it might go to court and a euthanasia order might be placed on that cat. The other thing that came out of the companion animal laws is the fact that they must all be identified, so that all new cats have to have a microchip, cats and kittens, and current cats have to have at least a collar with a tag, if not a microchip.
I have to say, I think that's a great idea. I think all animals, I mean, if they go stray, there are thousands of strays that don't find their way home every year.
But as you said in the opening, Tracy, one of the main reasons behind this, I mean, cats have a pretty bad name in Australia. There's about 3 million domestic cats, and it's estimated they kill about 75 million native animals per year. And a lot of owners will go out and get, collars with bells to try and stop cats.
Yep.
And the bells are, I mean, they work, I mean, they ring. But they'll ring about 1,000 times a day, and usually not when the cat is trying to kill prey. And the reason being that the little object inside the bell, when the cat's in the sort of strike thrust position of trying to pounce on prey, the little object sort of sits at the back of the bell and doesn't actually ring when it's supposed to. Right. So it'll ring 1,000 times a day, but not when the cat's actually trying to catch a bird. This new collar that's come out, this Liberator collar, has been designed to emit an alarm sound when the cat launches into its strike action. And it has a little alarm and a red light on it that goes off sort of within the first couple of centimetres of a cat trying to jump onto a bird.
Your friend's trying to get away.
Yeah, that's right. And it's thought that, well, it's shown actually that second is enough to warn the bird to take a flight response and get away from it.
So at what point does it go off? Does it go up just before the lunge?
At the point of the lunge, yeah, you can hear the alarm sound there. At the point of the lunge, within the first couple of centimetres. So for 99% of the actual strike, the alarm is going off, and that is enough to give the bird time to get away.
And the bird takes off. What about this theory about cats shouldn't wear collars because if they climb trees, the collars hook up and then the cat can strangle itself?
Look, that's often suggested, and a lot of collars, I guess, we've seen it happen where cats do get caught, but they generally slip out of them. I mean, you don't put a collar on so tight that it's going to strangle the cat and it can't get out of it if it has to. So, that's usually not a problem. But the Liberator collar, I think, is a great innovation. It's an Australian invention, Tracy. It's being marketed worldwide. It retails for only about $20, which I think is very reasonable and should last a lifetime. The batteries in them will last about a year, depending on the activity of the cat. And the good news is, I mean, they're not that annoying to the cat, and it'll only go off probably about 50 times a day, and usually when the cat is trying to kill a bird. So it's certainly helpful for trying to save our wildlife.
And available from vets and pet shops?
That's correct.
Okay,
yes.
Thanks, Steve.
Thanks, Tracy.